All right, so Tokyo, it's calling your name, isn't it?
I think it's safe to say that it is.
Specifically, we're talking about Shinjuku, that pulsing heart of the city. I bet you're picturing the neon, the crowds, and of course, the food.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe you're feeling a little, I don't know, a little overwhelmed, maybe? Like, where do you even begin with all those choices?
Especially if you've got limited time on your trip.
Exactly. You want to make sure you hit the ground running, taste bud first. So if you're the type of traveler who wants to make every bite count, this is the deep dive for you. We're going to be your guides to the incredible, and I mean incredible, food scene in Shinjuku.
That's right. We've done our homework for this one, dug up some really fascinating articles and guides all about Tokyo's must-try dishes. We even found some stuff about what different neighborhoods are known for, food-wise.
Perfect. I love that. So think of this as us together, kind of mapping out your culinary adventure before you even step on the plane.
That's exactly it.
Our mission today is pretty straightforward. We're going to break down Shinjuku's food scene, what makes it so special, and why it deserves a prominent place on your Tokyo itinerary. We'll sprinkle in some of that broader Tokyo context from our research too, just to paint a complete picture. We're going to cover those iconic dishes, the ones you absolutely can't miss, and then we'll delve into some tips on restaurant etiquette.
Yeah, that's important.
Because you want to navigate those culinary waters smoothly, right? And finally, we'll share some smart strategies for making the most of your food adventures, especially if you're working with limited time. Because let's face it, you've got to fit in as much deliciousness as humanly possible.
Absolutely. Maximize that flavor intake. So are you ready to dive into Shinjuku?
I am so ready. Let's do it. Shinjuku, it seems, is kind of a microcosm of Tokyo's entire food scene, wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure. What really struck me going through all this research was just how much variety there is in Shinjuku. It's like they crammed all the best of Tokyo's food into one exciting district. We keep seeing this list of like 20 must-try dishes for Tokyo, and I think you can probably find most, if not all of those, right in Shinjuku.
That is so cool. Talk about convenient. It's like a one-stop shop for everything that makes Tokyo a foodie paradise.
Yeah.
And you know what? Just glancing at some of these must-try lists, it's clear that a lot of them are, well, iconic Japanese dishes we all know and love. Let's start with sushi and sashimi. Our sources pretty much unanimously agree. Tokyo is a sushi lover's dream. And I think that goes beyond just the number of places you can find it. It's the quality, the dedication, the artistry.
Oh, yeah. You're not just getting a roll, you're getting an experience.
Exactly. So in Shinjuku, you're probably going to find everything on that spectrum. Those fun, casual conveyor belt places where you can just grab whatever catches your eye.
Those are fun.
To those more traditional, super authentic sushi bars where you can watch the masters at work.
It's an art form, really.
Absolutely. And speaking of art forms, can we talk about ramen?
Oh, please, let's talk about ramen.
The hype around Tokyo ramen is real. It's no joke. And you know what? It's not just one kind of ramen either. You've got your rich, creamy tonkotsu broths, the pork bone ones, the ones that just coat your mouth.
Oh, so good.
Then you've got the lighter shoyu styles, the soy sauce-based broths, which can be just as flavorful in a different way.
And the noodles themselves, too. There's so much variation in the noodles.
Absolutely. Thick, thin, curly, straight, you name it. It's a whole world unto itself. And Shinjuku, being that vibrant hub, you just know it has to have a mind-blowing ramen scene.
You're not going to be disappointed. Not at all.
And then we have tempura, which to me just screams expertise, Lightly battered seafood and veggies, fried to that perfect golden crisp, but that's not something just anyone can do.
Absolutely. And given how Tokyo is known for its incredible food culture, the attention to detail, the precision, I'd imagine the tempura in Shinjuku is probably out of this world.
I'd put money on it. Another dish that kind of points to that Tokyo precision is tonkatsu. That crispy breaded pork cutlet. Delicious.
Oh, yes.
And it's interesting, right, because our sources highlight a couple of places, Asakusa Gukatsu and Gukatsu Motomura in Harajuku, that are famous for yukatsu. It's basically the same concept, breaded and fried, but with beef cutlet instead of pork.
Right.
So what does that tell us? It tells me Tokyo takes their fried cutlets seriously.
For sure.
So if they're putting that much love into gyukatsu, you can bet that tonkatsu in Shinjuku is going to be equally amazing. That perfect crunchy exterior, that juicy, tender pork inside, it's a classic for a reason.
Absolutely. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. And then you've got okonomiyaki, which is just fun, right? That savory pancake that you can customize with all sorts of toppings.
Love okonomiyaki. And you know what's cool about it? It actually varies a lot regionally in Japan. So Given how diverse Shinjuku is, you might even stumble upon restaurants that specialize in different regional styles of okonomiyaki.
Ooh, like a little okonomiyaki tour within Shinjuku.
I know, right? How cool would that be? And for those times when you want something casual, maybe after work or while you're exploring, there's always yakitori.
Oh yeah, those little grilled chicken skewers, just bursts of flavor.
And a classic izakaya food, right? Those Japanese-style pubs. And Shinjuku, I mean, come on, it's known for its nightlife. I'd imagine there are tons of places where you can get your yakitori fix.
Oh, definitely. And let's not forget onigiri, for those moments when you're on the go and need a quick, satisfying bite.
Onigiri is a lifesaver. Those simple rice balls, you can get them with all sorts of fillings, and they're perfect for just popping in your bag while you explore Shinjuku. And then, of course, you have soba and udon, the noodle powerhouses.
If you want something a bit lighter, those are always a good choice. Buckwheat soba noodles with that earthy flavor, or the chewy, satisfying wheat udon noodles.
And you can find them served in so many ways, hot or cold. Perfect for any time of day, really.
I mean, we're barely scratching the surface here, and I'm already convinced I need to book a trip to Shinjuku. It really does sound like a place where you can have a completely immersive Japanese culinary experience.
I'm with you. Now, before we get too carried away dreaming about all that deliciousness, let's talk about restaurant etiquette for a minute. Just so we don't accidentally commit any faux pas.
Yeah, important point. Our sources don't go super deep into specific rules or anything,
Right.
but there are definitely some general customs that are good to keep in mind when you're eating out in Tokyo.
Yeah, like the universal be respectful kind of thing.
Exactly. So first off, be prepared to wait to be seated, especially at popular restaurants. It's not really the norm to just grab a table like you might in some other places.
Got it. Patience is a virtue.
Another thing, phone calls. It's generally considered polite to, keep those to a minimum while you're dining, especially loud conversations. You want to be mindful of the other people enjoying their meals.
Makes sense. Be present, enjoy the company and the food. What else?
Chopsticks. It's not a strict rule, but it's always appreciated if you try your best to use them correctly. Most restaurants are used to tourists, but, a little effort goes a long way. And then there are a couple of key phrases. Itadakimasu, before you start eating, which is like saying thank you for the meal, but before you eat it. And gochisusama deshita, after you finish, which is thanking them again.
I'm writing these down.
They're small gestures, but they really do show that you appreciate the experience. And one thing that often trips up visitors is tipping. It's not really a thing in Japan. In fact, sometimes trying to tip can be confusing or even awkward.
Ah, good to know. So basically, be polite, mindful, and leave your tipping habits at home. I like it. Simple enough. Now, let's talk about what's unique to Tokyo, food-wise. This is where it gets interesting.
It is interesting because while our sources give us this great list of must-try dishes for Tokyo, they don't really specify anything that you can only find in Tokyo. It's not like, oh, this dish was invented in Tokyo and you can only get it here.
Right.
What I think it comes down to is Tokyo has a reputation. They have a certain standard. And I think that applies to specific types of cuisine. So maybe it's not that a dish is exclusive to Tokyo, but that Tokyo does it exceptionally well.
I see what you're saying. Like, you might be able to find ramen all over Japan, but Tokyo ramen is in a league of its own.
Exactly. And that's because you have this concentration of incredibly skilled chefs, access to the best ingredients, and just this overall culture of culinary excellence. And Shinjuku, being that central dynamic hub, you can bet it's reflecting that.
Makes sense. So it's less about finding a dish that only exists in Tokyo and more about experiencing a dish that Tokyo is known for doing exceptionally well.
Precisely. And one example that immediately comes to mind is sushi and sashimi. I mean, yes, you can get sushi all over the world now, but Tokyo, it's just different. It's almost like a pilgrimage for sushi lovers.
I know what you mean. It's the freshness, the variety, the skill, the whole experience. And even though the main Tsukiji fish market has moved, the legacy of incredible seafood, the expertise of the chefs, it's all still there in Tokyo and definitely in Shinjuku.
It's in the DNA of the city's food culture.
Absolutely. And what about ramen? We know it's a nationwide phenomenon, but does Tokyo put its own spin on it?
It absolutely does. I mean, you'll find regional ramen styles from all over Japan represented in Tokyo, but the city itself has also contributed some classic styles, often characterized by that shoyu, the soy sauce-based broth. But it's more than just the type of broth. It's the sheer dedication, the competition, the quest for the perfect bowl. That's what makes Tokyo ramen, and therefore likely Shinjuku ramen, so special.
Okay, so it's not just one specific Tokyo ramen, but the overall level of quality, the variety, the passion that makes it stand out.
Exactly. It's an experience.
It is. It absolutely is. And now, for the moment of truth, let's say you're in Shinjuku, maybe you have limited time, but you want to hit those culinary highlights. What would you say are the top 5 dishes someone absolutely has to try?
Ooh, the top 5. That's a tough one, but I'm up for the challenge. If we're talking essential Shinjuku food experiences, ones that are both iconic and delicious and that really give you a taste of what the city's about, I think we have to start with .drumroll.ramen. It has to be number 1.
Of course, ramen is like the gateway drug to amazing Tokyo food.
It really is. And with so much variety, you're bound to find something you love. Go for a rich tonkatsu one day, try a later show you the next. Explore those noodles.
I love that. Experiment. Okay, what's number 2 on your must-try list?
Number 2 has got to be yakitori. We talked about it earlier, those grilled chicken skewers. They're so good, so versatile, and such a quintessential izakaya experience. And Shinjuku, with its bustling nightlife, has no shortage of izakayas. It's a fun, social way to eat, too.
It is, and there's something about those smoky, grilled flavors. So, so good.
All right.
All right, number 3.
Number 3, we're going classic.
Yes.
Sushi or sashimi. I know, you might be thinking, but sushi's everywhere. But trust me, Tokyo sushi, especially in a place like Shinjuku, it's just different. It's an art form. And even without those big fish markets right in the area, they're still getting the freshest, highest quality seafood.
Absolutely, it's a must-do. Okay, hit me with number 4.
Number 4, we're going back to that crispy goodness. Tonkatsu. I'm telling you, based on all our research, Tokyo knows how to fry things. And tonkatsu is the perfect example. That crunchy, perfectly golden brown breading, the juicy pork inside. Oh, it's so good. Find yourself a reputable tonkatsu place in Shinjuku. You won't be disappointed.
I can hear that crunch from here. And last but not least, rounding out our top 5, what's the final must-try dish?
For number 5, I'm going with tempura. It's just so classic, so elegant, and it really showcases that Japanese culinary precision. And in a place like Shinjuku, you're bound to find some tempura masters who have perfected their craft. It's a completely different experience compared to the other 4 on our list, but equally delicious.
I love that. So we've got ramen, yakitori, sushi or sashimi, tonkatsu, and tempura. That's a pretty solid foundation for an amazing culinary adventure in Shinjuku. But let's get practical for a moment. Let's say our listener is visiting Tokyo for the first time. Maybe they have a limited amount of time and they want to make sure they hit the ground running. What specific advice would you give them on where to go in Shinjuku for food, what to eat beyond those top 5, and how to do it all efficiently?
Okay, so let's start with where to go. Shinjuku Station, that's your starting point.
Makes sense. It's the main hub.
It is.
Yeah.
And the area immediately surrounding the station is just packed, and I mean packed, with restaurants. You'll find every price point, every style imaginable, from tiny hole-in-the-wall ramen joints to massive multi-story dining complexes.
It's like a vertical food city.
Right. And then there's Omoi Yokocho, which literally translates to memory lane. Sometimes people call it Piss Alley. It's a narrow, atmospheric little alleyway with all these small food stalls, tons of character. It's in Shinjuku, and it's mentioned in one of our sources as part of a 2-week itinerary. They're not recommending any one specific dish, but it sounds like it's a really cool spot for experiencing old Tokyo, that kind of intimate local vibe.
Omoi Yokocho sounds amazing, honestly. Like something straight out of a movie.
Oh, for sure. And don't underestimate the department stores. A lot of them, especially the big ones in Shinjuku, have entire floors dedicated to restaurants. And it's not just your average food court. They often have really high-quality restaurants, diverse cuisines, and it's super convenient if you're already shopping or just passing through.
That's a good point. It's like a one-stop shop for everything, food included. Now, what about dishes beyond our top 5? How do you even begin to navigate all that variety in Shinjuku?
I say be adventurous. If you see a small local place that's packed with people, that's usually a good sign.
Right. If the locals love it, it must be good.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to try things you're not familiar with. Look for daily specials, seasonal menus, things like that. That's often where you find the freshest, most interesting dishes. And if you do have a craving, like maybe okonomiyaki or some delicious soba noodles, a quick search online for restaurants specializing in those in Shinjuku will probably lead you to some amazing hidden gems.
So it sounds like a mix of spontaneous exploring and a little targeted research can go a long way. Now, for the truly time-crunched traveler, how do they do all of this efficiently? How do they maximize their food experiences in Shinjuku if they don't have a ton of time?
I think the key is pre-trip research. Take some time before your trip, look up specific types of food you're interested in, maybe even bookmark a few restaurants that catch your eye. Restaurant review websites and apps can be lifesavers, especially for figuring out opening hours, price ranges, getting a sense of the atmosphere.
That's such a good point. It saves you from wandering around aimlessly, trying to figure it all out on the spot. Any other tips for staying efficient once you're actually in Shinjuku?
Be flexible.
Yeah.
Popular spots might have queues, especially during peak times. It's good to have backup options. And think geographically. If you know you'll be near Shinjuku Station at a certain time, focus your food adventures around there. No need to be crisscrossing the entire district if you don't have time. And if you're really crunched, consider trying smaller dishes or doing multiple stops for like a course at each place.
Ooh, like creating your own mini food tour. I love that. So as we wrap up this incredible deep dive into Shinjuku's food scene, what would you say is the most important takeaway for someone who's dreaming of a first-time trip to Tokyo?
I think the biggest takeaway is that Shinjuku is an amazing, accessible, and incredibly delicious introduction to Tokyo's food culture. It has something for everyone, and it really embodies that energy and excitement that Tokyo's known for.
Absolutely. It sounds like experiencing the food in Shinjuku is an essential part of any Tokyo trip, and Shinjuku just seems like the perfect place to start with all that variety, that energy, those hidden gems just waiting to be discovered.
An adventure waiting to happen.
It is, and I'm so glad we got to dive into it together. So quick recap for our listeners. Shinjuku is a food lover's paradise, full of variety, incredible flavors, and some truly unique experiences. Remember our top 5 must-tries: ramen, yakitori, sushi or sashimi, tonkatsu, and tempura. And when it comes to making the most of your time, do your research, be flexible, and focus on those key areas like around Shinjuku Station, Omoiryokocho, and the department store restaurant floors.
It's amazing how much they've managed to pack into one area. Really, Shinjuku is a perfect example of that Tokyo efficiency.
All right, so here's a final thought for you as you plan that Tokyo adventure. Picture yourself in Shinjuku, surrounded by all those neon lights, the energy, and those incredible aromas filling the air. What's the first thing you're going to eat? What hidden gems are you going to uncover?
Makes you want to hop on a plane right now, doesn't it?
It really does. A trip to Tokyo, starting with a deep dive into Shinjuku's food scene, it sounds unforgettable. Thanks for joining us on this culinary adventure, and happy eating.
Until next time.
See you then.